All right, welcome to this 12th press conference of the season here. This is in advance of Saturday's game at Sacramento State. It's the 66th Causeway Classic presented by Pepsi, which I have back there. You can listen on Sports 1140 on the TuneIn app. You can watch it on CW31 or live streamed at Pluto TV. You can also read Bob Dunning's coverage in the Davis Enterprise. But with all that aside, head coach Dan Hawkins.
Well, the journey continues. Another interesting ball game. Unfortunately, I did not coach well enough to capture a couple details. Did some really, really solid things in the game against a very good opponent. And we're going to face another really good opponent. Talked to our team a little bit this morning. I think a lot of times people get hung up in winning. And winning is fun, but it's really about the process, I think, and really about living by principles and what are your values. And our guys certainly have espoused all the values of a championship program and a championship person this season, and have nothing to be ashamed about there. But some journeys are tougher than others. You look at all the opponents on here. I think we're going to have played probably 6 or 7 or 8 playoff teams. Cal's probably certainly going to finish well, and I think Lehigh's going to finish well, and Cal will be in a bowl game. So, but that's the nature of the Big Sky as well. That's the nature of competition, trying to close that gap and capture some of those details. It was great to see Jake break the passing record, and I certainly have known and played and coached with many of those quarterbacks, and certainly have been aware of them. And for him to break that record, pretty phenomenal for a school that's had the great, rich quarterback tradition that UC Davis has had. Getting ready to go play Sac State. Have a tremendous amount of respect for Troy Taylor and, of course, Chris Richardson on their staff, and Bobby Frescus and all those guys, and Andy Thompson came forward from NAU. Really solid coaching staff, and they're talented. Have one of the best quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, pass rushers in the conference. So credit to Troy and what he's done this year, and the Hornets for what they've been able to get going. So it'll be another chance for us to test ourselves and try to be the best we can be, and it'll take our best to win the football game, because they're very good, and we're very good too. We really are. But it'll all come down to kind of the margin of error that see we can get that. But one last week for a group of great seniors and really a bunch of good guys on our football team, and once again we're trying to put our best foot forward.
You said just now that you didn't feel maybe you didn't coach well enough in this last game. Expand on what are some of the...
Well, we went for the touchdown and didn't get it on the first drive. You don't second guess those things when you're in the moment. Maybe afterwards you do. It's so hard for me because I play to win. I don't play not to lose. I do have a high degree of confidence in our offense and our personnel. So you walk a fine line between saying, do you not trust your guys? Should you play it safe? If you're trying to get your program to play to win and avoid playing not to lose, at some point you have to make a philosophical statement in that direction, and we certainly have the past few years. And then I really thought when we had 4th and 1, I felt I had 100% confidence we would get it, and we didn't. So those were kind of two instances where I kind of hurt the football team there. And maybe need to rethink some of that situational decision making.
Questions from the floor here?
How did Sac State turn that thing around?
Well, they had good players, Bob. Really good players.
2 years ago.
You know, but they were banged up last year. So they had good players 2 years ago, and they had a great season. Should have been in the playoffs. My first year here, they should have been in the playoffs. Last year, Kevin got hurt, and Obina got hurt. They lost a bunch of other guys as well. They were banged up all over the place. And then it's hard. You lose some games, you lose some confidence, and give Kevin Thompson, I'm talking about, give him a lot of credit. He played in our game last year, but you could tell he was very ginger. I mean, he's had back problems his whole career, so he showed a tremendous amount of toughness. But when you show up and you have that kind of quarterbacking and tailbacking, and they've got a loaded receiver as well, and a great pass rusher, good things are going to happen.
What does Kevin bring to it?
He can run, he can throw. He's as good. If he's probably, we have a lot of good players in this league, but maybe Eric Berry is in the same category. But he's a solid runner. He's a solid thrower. And he can do it both.
When you look back at the season, when you're in the final game, how do you evaluate the season?
That'll be it. Just capturing the details and understanding. I think it's interesting. I actually got my first hate mail after the game, believe it or not. So I said, our program's making, yeah, we're making strides. I got my first hate mail after the game, which I guess is a good thing, because we've gone from, gee whiz, you won the championship last year. What are you doing, Slappy? Let's get going. But I think we've competed really well against really good football teams. Need to capture the details, need to keep growing that way, understanding the nature of the battle and the nature of competition week in and week out. It's one thing to show up and be competitive and surprise a couple people and get a few things going, and then we kind of came through the back alley last year and did some really good things. But once you kind of arrive on the scene and then everybody knows, hey, you better get ready to play these guys, and you become a serious contender, then it takes on a whole different attitude as well. But I've said before, I think we played well and battled really in every game but one. But that's what it comes down to. I've said before, you look at the Montana game and the Idaho State game last year as being kind of difference makers. Hey, if we make one of 3 plays at North Dakota State, we beat the Bison in the Dome. If we probably make 1 play, we beat North Dakota. I mean, we easily could be one of those teams sitting there to be a playoff. But you can't, like I said, you can't go there, because that's the difference. We had close wins last year. We had close losses this year. And so we have to train and compete and have expectations to close that gap. But we've had a great year. We've played a lot of kids, a lot of young guys. We've had some unfortunate injuries. That's football. We've had other people step up and carry the flag, and all those things. What they've done within the confines of a championship program, the wins may not be there, but how they've trained, how they've treated each other, how they've been selfless, how they've filled in, all that's what you want your championship program to do. So those things were all positive.
You feel like last year you woke the whole conference up and said that you have to deal with UC Davis now, and you may have paid a little bit of a price for that this year.
Well, I don't know if it's a price, but that's what it is. I mean, and I've been through this thing before too. We went through it a little bit at Willamette, and to some degree as we kind of grew at Boise, as they start looking at you as going, oh, wow. And sometimes no matter what a coach tells a team, they don't really believe it until they see it. And then once they see it, they're going, oh, hey, yeah, we better get going here. Just the nature of it.
How about Alonzo Gilliam? He's getting to this last game of his sophomore year. I always forget he's a sophomore because
Yeah.
he seems so mature beyond his years. But he's just been your rock for this. He's run almost every snap.
Lonzie trains like he fights and fights like he trains, and extremely consistent. I think the amount of times, and he redshirted his first year, but the amount of times he's missed practice here, I can't even really remember. And he's had 2 games this year where he had to take every single rep at tailback, which is not easy. But he shows up and he puts up. I mean, he's a tough kid. He's a talented kid. He's smart. He's a very good receiving threat. He's a very good pass protector. But again, he just kind of goes about his business in a quiet manner. Not a braggadocious guy at all, but steely-eyed, tough, competitive. Again, that guy's been a champion this whole season.
We have one question from our viewers, real X's and O's here. Hi, Coach, from Natalie. Hi, Coach. Will you be given rides again during finals week?
Say that what?
Will you be giving rides again during 5?
I don't know. You have to talk to marketing. We got a little music, rides, water. If she wants a ride, we'll be there.
All right, Natalie, hope that answers your question. Bob, anything else?
Given rights during the
We did. We went around a golf cart, handed out water. We had a little music, some good music, gave people a ride around campus.
I'll tell my daughter it's her first final.
It was fun.
There you go.
There you go. Look for the golf cart that's probably speeding on campus.
All right, any more questions? All right, once again,
All right.
Saturday, 2 p.m. is the kickoff. Listen on Sports 1140, watch on CW31 or Pluto TV online. And again, for you, Bob Dunning, Davis Enterprise. Thank you, Coach Hawk.
All right, go Ags.